Hello, Main Street. My name's Stephen Hauk, and I have been serving God in worship for nearly a decade now, all over the world. And I'm excited to explore this possibility of where God will be sending my family and I from here to serve Him. And maybe that possibility that it would be to serve in Ohio. I've been married to my wife, Colleen, for 19 years now. We have 5 children together, the first 3 through birth and the last 2 by adoption, while we lived in Okinawa, Japan. And some people ask me why Okinawa, Japan? Well, that was because of the military. We were sent there and stationed there for 6 years while I served the Marine Corps. I retired after 20 years in the Marine Corps as a Master Sergeant. And it was during those last 6 years in the Marine Corps that I began to feel the calling of God to ministry. And as I was coming towards retirement and I was approaching this pivotal time in my life, I reflected back and realized that everywhere I went, we moved every 3 years. We ended up in a new church every 3 years. And everywhere I went, every church that I went, I was thrown into leadership positions over and over, as deacons, as worship leader, worship pastor, campus pastor. And I thought, is this God calling me to worship? And I felt a desire that this is what I want to do with the rest of my life. And my biggest concern was that I was making all of this up in my own head. And so at that point, I grabbed my senior pastor and I asked him, hey, can we sit down for breakfast one day? I want to throw some thoughts at you. We sat down and I explained everything, the desire that I had, how I've been just put in these positions over and over. And at that time, he was like, yes, we see the calling on your life. And that's why we've been putting you in these positions. And so I felt that was him confirming and affirming that there is a calling of God for ministry on my life. And from there, he brought me before the church. And I was ordained at Koza Baptist Church in Okinawa, Japan, which again was an affirmation to me from the church that this wasn't in my head, but there is a calling on my life to serve God in full-time ministry. So from there, we had to decide where we're going to go and how we're going to pursue that calling. So at the time, retirement was approaching and we had to decide where to go. And I felt that if God is calling me to the ministry, then I want to be prepared, I want to be trained, I want to be educated, I want to be ready. And so we decided to come here to Texas so that I could attend Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary. Here I have for the last 3 years, I've been working for my Master's of Divinity. I just got the grades in for my last class, and if I'm still here in December, then I'll be walking across the platform and receiving my diploma for my Master's of Divinity at Southwestern. The funny thing is with all of this education, I now have earned a master's degree. I find that I only know 25 letters in the alphabet. I don't know why. All right, back to it. As I was going through this search and I've been looking for where God will be sending my family and I came across Mainstreet. And as I'm looking at your website and I'm watching your services, the services are done very well and you have a very talented team that I would be honored to be leading. And then I also looked at your website and a couple things stood out to me as this is the kind of church I want to be at. I saw your prayer wall online, people praying for each other, even a place where you can click that you have prayed for this request, and I could see how many people have prayed for each one. That's encouraging to see a body of believers praying for each other. And how better to know one another and to love one another than through sharing prayer requests. So I love that on your site. And then I also went on to how to connect. And you guys use the worship, group life, and serve ideas. One, I love that worship's first. because I think that's what we do as believers. We gather in worship. And I'm passionate about group life. This is where we share life as believers together. And then serve, I clicked on the link there, and it wasn't, hey, come serve in childcare, which is what I usually see. But it was listed out all these places in the community that you guys serve. And then there was the, serve around the church. But first and foremost was reaching out to the community. And that's the kind of church I want to be part of. Well, Main Street, I hope this time gave you a little bit of who I am, what my passion is, and just a little quick introduction. And I really look forward to hearing from you soon.